Hi, this is Lewis Harrison at Ask Lewis. And what we do here is we look at strategies that we can create in life based on gamer psychology, game theory, applied game theory. Life is a game, and the more you can strategize in life as a game, the more you can be more effective, more efficient, more productive, more precise, more self-aware, and actually live a great life at a very, very low cost. So that's what we do here. We have a fan page on Facebook at Ask Lewis. Also, you can friend me on Facebook at Lewis Harrison. And of course, we have a website at asklewis.com. We hope you will subscribe at this channel, Ask Lewis, Lewis Harrison. So game theory has won many, many Nobel Prizes. And essentially what it does is it helps to predict the best way to make a choice or a decision when you're interacting with other people in a particular scenario or in a particular situation. Humans tend to be social animals, and we do make choices based on what others are doing around us. Anyway, one of the things that I study in exchange to maximize my game theory skills is what are called game patterns in the natural world. If you look in the world around you, you look at things that are plants, buildings, people, how they walk, how they dress. There are patterns that we see there. And by being able to recognize patterns, we can more effectively predict what's likely to happen in the future, which of course reduces our stress and enables us to do what needs to get done to maximize our potential. So, an excellent example of game patterns in action is nature. How can we explain the simplicity, complexity, and wonder that is the natural world? There is no way. It's overwhelming and it's awe-inspiring. Nature, in the broadest sense, is the natural, physical, and material world of the universe. Nature can refer to many things, many phenomena of the physical world, and also to life in general. Although humans are part of nature, they sadly generally observe their activities as a separate category from other natural phenomena. It could be said that when we choose to accept the idea that we are somehow different from nature, it is here that cognitive biases, logical fallacies, and suffering and struggles begin in our lives. We make poor choices and suffer for it. So all human creatures, and most creatures actually involve in play, at least mammals do. Game plays an essential element of what it means to be a high-functioning human being. To understand the nature of gameplay, one need only observe nature unfolding, the general realm of living plants and animals. Beyond the game of life is the game of natural things, which we call science. By observing the natural environment and the patterns found in wild animals, rocks, forests, and in general, those things that have been not substantially altered by human intervention, or which persist despite human intervention, we can see how things work through on more traditional concepts of natural elements. Now, I don't want to confuse you here. The key is that if you can watch nature in process, it gives you an idea of gamer thinking and gamer psychology. All of the formal sciences, whether chemistry or geology, etc., can be viewed through gamer thinking and gamer psychology. In the game of life, it is crucial to understand what life is. Although there is no universal agreement on the definition of life, scientists generally accept that the biological manifestation of life is characterized by organization, metabolism, growth, adaptation, etc. These are the rules in the game of life within the natural world. Many thought leaders believe that the closest humans can come to understanding natural law is through mathematics, which is the foundation actually of classical game theory, as it was initially developed by the great thinker John von Neumann. In my work, Harrison's Applied Game Theory, HACT, we don't normally think the same way a traditional game theorist would, because in classical game theory, the assumption is that the opponent or someone dealing in a game with you is a rational thinker. while in Harrison's applied game theory, we assume a person is actually irrational or emotionally driven and just frames their irrational thinking in rational terms, so they will be accepted by the group. The reason why hack and also classical game theory and gamer psychology are so crucial to human development in the digital age is that historically the understanding of natural law and how to act in alignment with it was core to the creation of human culture. In essence, natural law referred to the use of reason to analyze human resources. Theologically speaking, the need to understand natural law helps us to understand binding rules of moral behavior within us. In a sense, game theory is an attempt to use reason to analyze behaviors that actually reflect human nature. So what game theory and natural law have in common is that both can be observed as systems with specific elements that can be defined and named. It is these specific elements that help us to name the game that is being played out in nature. It could be the game of competition, the game of finding a mate, the game of rearing children. Long before people were scientifically studying and defining nature, ecosystems, and gamer thinking, there were great thinkers who were exploring the idea of games and game-based systems and the creation of ancient societies, and how hierarchical and competitive behavior developed in them. In my work in game theory and in studying applied game theory, there are three great strategists that come to mind. Quintus Fabius Maximus Verrucosus, who was the Roman military, political, and military leader, Sun Tzu, the great Chinese philosopher, and Nicolai de Bernardo di Machiavelli, the political and humanist thinker. There have been others since then, including Dawn Steele, one of the first heads of a major Hollywood studio, who was a really skilled strategist in the business of Hollywood. Well, there are many other political and military strategists throughout history who were, in a sense, pioneers in gamer thinking. They used logic in decision-making and codified concepts so that they could be studied systematically. I created Harrison's applied game theory by studying these four master strategists and ideas relating to games and gamer thinking and gamer psychology. Today, game theory is used to get power and wealth for the powerful and wealthy. But the simple idea of framing life as a game has become a significant method used in economics and business for modeling competing behaviors. Applications for game theory include a wide and diverse array of economic phenomena and approaches, such as auctions, bargaining, mergers, acquisitions, mechanism, voting systems, behavioral economics, and traditional competitive strategies as simple as musical chairs, or meeting a girl or a guy that you want to go out with on a date, or how you invest in stock. All of these are tied to game-based thinking. So, in spite of all of this complexity and sophistication, mathematics, statistics, and algorithms, the use of gamer psychology and game thinking can be applied to solve all kinds of problems. In life, we must deal with incompetence, corruption, ignorance, and other undesirable elements. To make the world a better place, we must have the ability to strategize over, under, around, and through challenges, obstacles, and extreme problems. For many thought leaders, game theory is the most effective, efficient, and productive way to achieve this end because it is an accurate reflection of nature. If you're looking for a shortcut around game theory, sort of some way to hack it, there is none. Game theory is not a gamble. It is not a speculation. It is the shortcut. If you want a life of love, abundance, happiness, joy, emotional balance, nurturing relationships, mental clarity, spiritual fulfillment, and constant winning, that doesn't mean others have to lose. but you do get to win in most endeavors that you get involved in. In all the teaching and coaching that I do, my key is to be a creative and innovative portal. I want people to be able to merge love and wisdom. I want them to do ruthless introspection and have a life of celebration, generosity, joy, compassion, service to others, and personal success. It can be said that gamer thinking and gamer psychology is a natural expression of the human need for understanding and order. And that's why I always like to say to my students, the wiser you are, the luckier you get. So, when you're really interested in gamer psychology, the place you have to begin is the study of games and puzzles, like children playing in a sandbox. As children become more creative at gameplay, they often develop a greater interest in puzzles. In a puzzle, one is required to put pieces together in a logical way to arrive at a correct solution. There are a number of puzzles, which are called logic puzzles, crossword puzzles, Scrabble. They're among the most popular ones. But the key is to understand gamer psychology. You don't need to understand computer science or military strategy. You have to understand the basic fundamentals of games and puzzles. As a child begins to play more structured and interactive, physically oriented games and puzzles, certain crucial patterns become apparent. And these patterns can be included in at least two of the following 6 features. So any game situation you're in, whether it's poker, whether it's checkers, whether it's an athletic sport, whether it's the stock market, you have to have some physical skill. You have to have some ability to strategize. And of course, nothing is 100%, so there is going to be chance involved. You're going to have to learn how to recognize repetitions and patterns. You're going to have to be creative. And if the more physical something is, the more you're going to have a sense of balance. Let me repeat that for you. There are 6 primary patterns that you need to have to be effective as a game psychologist, a game thinker, or a competitor using applied game theory. These are 1, physical skill, 2, strategy, 3, dealing with chance and risk, 4, repetition of patterns, 5, creativity, and 6, a sense of physical balance. All games and puzzles are similar, but they will have some of these 6 features that I have just mentioned. There are also other features, of course. In children's games and most adult games, there are rules and referees to prevent cheating and make decisions. There are going to be referees when there are disagreements among the players, and ways to determine which players have won the game or solved the puzzle, and also when to know when the game has reached its conclusion. The first type of advanced game a child is likely to play once they leave things like tic-tac-toe or Candyland or playing in a sandbox are team games. And these usually arrive in the form of sporting games like basketball, baseball, football, or soccer. In both sports and in life games, there are many players interacting among teams or groups with common interests. In the digital world, especially in video games, this type of game showed up originally as a social network, which of course has millions of players. Most games are played on a board or playing field, an agreed upon and defined environment where the game will be played. I like to call this a game space. Example of game spaces would include a chessboard, a video game screen, a baseball field. An example of a game space for people who invest in stocks would be the stock market. Another critical factor in most games and puzzles are those that usually involve more than one player. When you play chess, the stock market, or the search for a life partner, a marriage mate, there are always 2 or more players. In Scrabble, or in the adult world of dating, there are many players. So as you can see, game thinking, game psychology gamer psychology, game theory, applied game theory. They have rules. There's a game space. There's a competitive environment with other players. Your ability to maximize your potential in all of these will guarantee you will win the game of life. Thanks for listening. My name is Lewis Harrison. I hope you will subscribe to my channel here at Ask Lewis Harrison, and also like my fan page, Ask Lewis on Facebook. Friend me, Lewis Harrison on Facebook, and of course, go to our website at AskLewis.com and join our mailing list. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.